Welcome to the Under the Hood Show. We are glad to have you with us. Russ Evans is here to answer your automotive questions.
Thanks for joining us under the hood.
Shannon Nordstrom is not here today to answer your automotive questions.
Not here.
I believe about now he's in the sky.
I think he's supposed to be...
Oh, wait, maybe he was on the West Coast, so he might not be in the sky yet.
2 hours behind. Wasn't he taking off at 9, right?
So it'll be a while.
See, I thought he was getting here at 9. So.
And then rushing to the studio? No.
Yeah, no, he won't get out till...
No.
It'll be a couple hours yet.
No Shannon Nordstrom today, but we do have your phone calls.
We do.
866-594-4150. 866-594-4150. Right before we came to the studio today, I saw that there is a Ford recall.
Another one.
Over 300,000 pickup trucks due to instrument panel display failures that cause blank screens, preventing drivers from seeing critical safety information like warning lights and vehicle speed. The recall affects 2025 F-150s and 2025-26 Super Duty trucks, including F-250, F-350, F-450, and F-550. They have received 95 warranty claims, but no reported accidents or injuries. So that it's one of several major Ford recalls this year, including 694,000 vehicles for fuel injector issues and over 850,000 cars for potential fuel pump failure, which is a lot, but they sell a lot.
Yeah, that's fine. And, they're covering it, right?
Right.
I mean, they're paying for it, so, yeah, you're out a little inconvenience, whatever, but they're taking care of it. The other hand could be, hey, we're not gonna help you out.
We know what happens, and you're on your own.
But, Chris, how about you? Could you really not drive if your dash wasn't working? If you covered it up, could you get where you're going safely and go, oh, hey, I think I'm speeding? Really? If there's another car on the road, you should know really how fast you're going, unless they're the only one there and they're going like way too fast. But
you would still know. You can
there's people out there, I'm telling you, they barely know how to put gas in the thing and they're driving. I've seen some.
Well, and there was a recall recently about putting gas in the car. I saw it on the Under the Hood Show YouTube.
Yeah, was that short enough for you?
Yeah, I like that one. That was good.
It was good too. I looked around and I started seeing them pop up about the Corvette, the fire when refueling, only on the Z06 and the ZR1. Yeah. And the reason for that is because the ZR1 and the Z06 have an intake fan and an intake on the driver's side fender. This is the new one that looks like a spaceship. Basically,
what it is normal gas dripping down your car happens to everyone.
Yep.
But they put an intake right at the below it.
Right so under it.
If the gas goes down there,
fumes,
gets sucked
gas,
in,
whatever it is, and occasionally the nozzle doesn't shut off, depending on where you're at the pump. If it decides to go and spill out like some stations do.
Well, and as I have learned since I got my new vehicle, I have a capless system.
That's what that is too.
And if you don't wait once that pump stops, you get gas everywhere. Once the pump stops and it's full, you have to wait a few seconds before you pull it out or it just shoots out.
Yeah, a little pressure because it's made to be sealed up a little more to try to prevent the fumes coming out. Yeah, that's a quick little video. If you're wondering why it catches on fire, whether you've got one of those cars or not, check out the video on YouTube. It's just a little short. It's like a minute long.
866-594-4150. Let's go to Oklahoma and talk to Mark. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Mark, what can we do for you?
Good morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
I actually called back at the end of May to get advice on what kind of truck to buy to pull my travel trailer, which weighs about 6,500 pounds loaded.
Okay, wait. What did we tell you to buy? And by we, I mean, Russ and Shannon.
We. You actually suggested that any of the half-ton pickups would work with that.
And what'd you end up with?
And I ended up buying a brand new 2025 Toyota Tundra. Has the V6 twin turbo with a tow rating of 11,400, and I love it so far. I got a couple of questions. I actually have three really quick questions. First one is I don't know how to drive it. And by saying that is we were pulling my trailer. Oh, shoot. Are you still there?
Yeah, you're still here.
My alarm go off. we were pulling my trailer a little trip, about 2 hours, and I thought, well, I got the tow haul button. I got that on. It's a smart truck. I thought I could probably be okay using the cruise on this. And I'm driving through Oklahoma down the interstate. It's rolling hills. And it would frequently, when you top a hill or right before you top it, it would drop down one gear. And it really wasn't anything where it really, like, jerks the truck and revs or anything. It was just, I'm watching the tachometer and it's dropping down one gear. And I'm kind of thinking that's a good idea to use a cruise or not. My wife goes online and searches, and it says, when you're pulling a trailer, you shouldn't use the cruise. So I turn the cruise off, and I'm driving myself, and every time I come up to one of those rolling hills, I drop it down a little bit, and I find that I get near the top, and dang, I didn't drop it down. I didn't drop my speed down enough, and it would downshift with me driving. So if it's going to downshift with me driving half the time, then why don't I just use the cruise? So I wouldn't use it if I was in Colorado or Arkansas with huge hills, but it's rolling hills here in Oklahoma. Should I use the cruise?
Yeah, you can. I mean, a lot of people use the cruise when they're towing. Heck, GM even has their super cruise where it drives the vehicle itself, hands off with the cruise. Cruise is on. You're pulling a trailer. You watch that little video on TV where they show them pulling the trailer down the road, and it goes and changes lanes and pulls back in and merges. That's nuts. Anyways, yeah, you can leave the cruise, but make sure you have the tow haul mode on. That's what you need to be doing.
Oh, yeah.
That's the most important thing. Tow haul mode on, and then just go. If there's a problem with the vehicle, it'll shut the cruise off. If it doesn't like it, if it's too far off, or if you don't like the way it's revving up, if it's just too high, a downshift where it's just screaming, you could turn that cruise off and slow down a little bit instead to prevent it. But you're probably going to drop at least one gear climbing hills on those vehicles, if not two, depending on how much weight and how big a hill you have. When I'm driving mine, I like to just slow down a little bit because I don't like it downshifting so drastically when I'm climbing a hill. So I'll turn the cruise off if I get into hills, but when I'm on fairly straight ground, I'll leave it. You get the feel for it. You know when it's going to be shutting off. After you drive that thing for a few months, you'll realize this hill will be fine. That hill won't be fine. I need to shut that cruise off and keep my foot on the gas. That way, if it does rev up too high, you can just back up a little bit if you need to.
Okay, well, good. The second thing was, it's getting about, when I'm pulling the trailer, it's getting about 10 miles to the gallon. And I thought I researched it thoroughly when I bought it, but I didn't check to see what the size of the fuel tank it has. And it has a 22-gallon tank. Well, at 10 miles a gallon, I can go about 2 hours before I have to stop and get gas, which at my age, I got to pee in every 2 hours anyway, so I shouldn't be worried about it. But would it be stupid to go to Car Parts and buy a larger tank and put on a brand new truck?
I wouldn't put a bigger tank in it. Like you said, it's good to get out and stretch, walk around, and just check things out. When you're towing something that big, it's good to stop.
Eyeball it.
Yeah. Commercial towing where you've got people in the truck all day long and they're running hot shot or whatever, a bigger tank is good if they can go 4 hours at a stretch and they're younger. But when you're driving with the camper, it's good to stop. And when I'm pulling my camper, I like to stop it. I usually stop every hour or so and just look at things, see if everything's all still in one piece, and get some gas if it's a little low. And if we stop somewhere, I'll always put fuel in when I stop somewhere, even if we're stopping for sometimes there's a thing, I got to stop. So, okay. So we stop and fill that thing up just in case, because you might find yourself running short the next time. But that's pretty common, that kind of fuel mileage, pulling weight like that and that many hours of driving.
Okay, well, good. And then finally, the cargo capacity on my truck is, I think it said like 1650 maybe, and the tongue weight on my trailer is about 650. But I was surprised about how much sag I had when I hooked it up. Now, I did adjust my load leveling trailer hitch to get my sag down to about 1.5 inches over the rear wheels, the wheel well. But I was surprised about the amount of sag, because I thought I had plenty of room there based on the cargo capacity. Was that what I was supposed to look at, cargo capacity and tongue weight?
Well, first off, you need to find out, you need to get a scale. They make them for trailers, and find out what the hitch weight is with your trailer loaded as being pulled down the road. You might be surprised. It doesn't take much to change that tongue weight to 1,000 pounds or to 400 pounds when it says it's about 600 from the factory, because you're moving weight forward or rear of that axle. Second, your cargo capacity is based on a load put dead in the center of the bed, not on the end of the bumper, which is way on the end. So now you're holding that on the end of a stick way down there. We got at our local pavilion, we've got a truck on the end of a long stick, and a 8-year-old girl can pick that truck up with the pulling on the rope. So couldn't pick it up if it was in the middle. So that's going to change that. So make sure you get that tongue weight, find out what it is, and you're going to want it. I mean, we're usually around 20% on that. But you'll find your recommendations. Ask the manufacturer what the recommended tongue weight is for that vehicle when loaded. You might want to just shift your cargo around a little bit until you get it right. Too little, you'll get sway. Too much, you'll get squat on the truck.
Mark, thanks very much for the call. Those are, I feel like those questions are great for him to have. Like, you get the new truck, and then you're like, I wonder about
for
this.
Other people
I wonder
too.
about this. Yeah, that tongue weight.
Maybe people that have been towing for years and didn't know on something like this.
Mark, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood Show.
Three friends talking cars. You decide if they know what they're talking about. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Let's talk to Kevin. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Kevin, what can we do for you?
Good morning, guys. Never heard you before. Week ago, I was taking a road trip heading west in South Dakota, headed out to my farm. No radio stations. I heard you guys talking cars, so I kept listening.
Oh, cool.
We appreciate that.
Yeah. I got a 13 Tundra V8 4-door. Ever since I've got it, I've always gotten 9 to 10 miles a gallon in town or on the highway. And normally on the highway, I'll do 80, 81. Is that the problem? Is there a problem with the motor? Is there something I can do? Or is it just the way the Tundra is?
Yeah, well, they don't get great mileage to begin with. You're not too far off, but that top speed is huge on it. If you slow that thing down to 65, you're going to see a jump. You could gain as much as 5 miles per gallon by dropping down to 65 from 80. It's
really
huge.
Okay.
The faster you go, the more exponential that load. Imagine holding up a sheet of plywood, like a 4x8 sheet of plywood, and walking down the driveway with it. You could probably do that. It's not that hard, but now walk into a 40-mile-an-hour wind and see how hard it is to put. You're like, whoa, I'm really pushing this thing hard. But you slow down again, you're fine. But going on that highway, at the minimum, you're pushing an 80-mile-an-hour wind. If it's just a dead calm. If it's with you from behind, you're going to drop that a little bit. If it's a 20-mile-an-hour headwind, which you get in South Dakota all the time, boy, you're pushing.
And if you're going 80, even with the wind behind you, you're still going to be pushing.
Oh, you're still going to be whatever it is.
Almost 80.
It's like a plane with your ground speed. If you got a 10-mile-an-hour tailwind and you're going 80, you're going 90.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're
right.
If you're headed into a 20 or 30 or 50-mile-an-hour South Dakota wind, deadhead, boy, you're really going to drop that fuel mileage.
Yeah, because we got the wind turbines halfway in between where I go, and I'm always checking to see which way the wind is blowing. And half of the time I figure I'm not getting good gas mileage, so I'm going to push it 80, 82 anyways, and I'm going to get there. You know what I mean?
That's up to you. Sometimes
so
cost versus time, and I've done that too. It's like, do I go the speed limit? sometimes it's not safe to slow down. Sometimes if you're trying to drive 70 on one of our 80-mile-an-hour roads, people are passing you doing 90. That's very common for people to be cruising along at 90 on our road 10 over.
And if gas is 470 versus 270, you certainly. I don't know if I make a conscious decision, but I definitely drive differently when gas is $3 more than it is now.
Right. One more question, gentlemen. I'm coming home and I'm crossing the Missouri River from west side of South Dakota to east side, and it's a great big hill. And I'm coming across the Missouri River. I got it on cruise control, and Jersey. And I get halfway up there, Jersey, and my cruise control is shut off. Is there a reason why it won't take me the rest of the way up the hill, or should I not use it going up the hill?
No, it should be fine. But if it drops down too far and the RPM goes up too high, it's going to shut the engine down. So there might be a code in there. Usually there's the
cruise
there'll be a last shutdown event. What turned the cruise off? You can find that with the correct scanner for it. It'll tell you, and we use that for diagnostic. And sometimes it says over RPM on the engine, so it dropped down too far. It says, "Hey, you're going too fast. We can't maintain this speed, so we're going to shut it down."
Yeah, that would right. I mean, you see that you see it in semis all the time when they're going up a big hill. They're in the right lane.
Mm-hmm.
They slow down because the load is so much. Your cruise control, if you can't maintain that speed, it's not going to try and keep it. It's going to eventually shut off and go, "Hey, you got to handle this."
It can only drop so many miles per hour before it shuts down.
It almost sees it as the brakes are like you tapped the brakes or something like that. Does that help you out there, Kevin?
Yeah, that's great. You guys help me out with everything. I know now that before I get to that hill, lately I've been hitting my brake and shutting my cruise off, and just going up the hill. But with the gas mileage, I'll definitely slow her down. And I wish I could get you guys a station here in Sioux Falls, but I got to go farther west to get it, and I'll be headed west there next week, so hopefully I can pick you up again.
We're actually in Sioux Falls. We're on right now on 1320. You're actually on Kello AM 1320 in Sioux Falls right now.
107.9, 1320, 105.1.
Yeah, there you go.
9 to 11.
Kevin, thanks very much for the call. That is mind-blowing to me. Doug, I was looking at Doug to see if 10 miles to the gallon. I can't fathom what that's like. I'm getting 36 in my new car, and I'm like, I might have to adjust here. 36, I'm kind of going through I've been getting 50 for 12 years, 15 years. So 10 miles to the gallon just blows my mind.
Yeah. I mean, that's normal. I've got a car that gets 17.9 all the time, no matter what I do with it. I just stuck right there and like, ooh, and then the truck, is depending on what I'm pulling, more or less. And
yikes.
Yeah.
866-594-4150. Let's go to Michigan and talk to Ramey. You're on the Under the Hood Show, Ramey. What can we do for you?
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
I called you a couple of weeks ago on my brother's 17 Spark and had all the tranny problems. It was shifting funny, blah, blah, blah. And you gentlemen recommended putting coils in it and doing this, and it was a running problem. Well, guess what?
It blew up.
My brother is amazed with what happened with the car. We put the new coils in, new spark plugs, and it runs like $1 million.
Awesome.
The only thing we're running into, and the shifting problems, the lights coming on the dash went away. Thank you. And he quit complaining to Dad. Dad and me were the mechanical. But anyway, one other issue with the car is when we first changed that, he took it on the highway, and when he was up to about 70, it did a few chugs, didn't want to go. And now A couple weeks later, in fact, this morning, a couple hours ago, we went, and it's cool out, and it's running. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Now, my question is, he had the fluid and filter change, the fluid change, the flush, but they never changed the filter. Should I change the transmission filter in that?
No, and
Easy access.
I don't think that one has one that you can get to easily. It's built into the case. You'd have to tear it down to do it. So it's not something that's normally done. It's just a screen in those.
Ramey, thanks very much for the call.
Fluid change is all you need on that.
I feel like I feel pretty happy with, like, I had something to do with it.
Oh, of course you did.
Yeah, I mean,
You're right there.
Yeah,
That's where you are.
I was important. I was right here, friend.
You're always important.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you. The phone number to reach us, 866-594-4150. You're listening to the Under the Hood Show.
With over 2,000 episodes and over 200 stations, Under the Hood has the knowledge to make your car feel good. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. Don't forget you can watch the show on our YouTube channel. If you subscribe there and join the Hoodie Fan Club at UnderTheHoodShow.com, you could win a hoodie.
Like Tyler Richards, congratulations for everybody here under the hood and our friends over at Berkeley One Classics celebrating 50 years of collector car coverage and Universal Technical Institute, UTI.edu, the only place that we feel you should go if you're thinking about becoming an automotive technician.
866-594-4150. Let's go to Chicago and talk to Alan. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Alan, what can we do for you?
Good morning. Greetings from the Windy City.
And to you.
I've still working on my old 1956 Ford F100. It's just plain blue, as we talked about before, and it's got the 223 inline 6 and the 3 on the tree. Got it running and driving now, but after we finally got the carb tuned up and the timing set, it goes 20 to 30 minutes pretty good, and then it just kind of like dies. And then it doesn't want to start again until it's cooled off.
Did you ever verify what's going on there, whether it's fuel or spark? Have you checked to see when it shuts off and it doesn't crank? Is there spark gone?
It cranks. I think the spark's gone.
Okay.
The last time I was just so mad at it, I just kind of walked away from it. But I went out the next morning and it started right up.
Well, of course. It's been 30 minutes. You'd order
I
pizza
let it
and
idle in the garage. Let it idle in the garage for 20 or 30 minutes, and all of a sudden it just shut down.
oh, that's easy then. That's great. If it's that's a dream for a mechanic when you say, yeah, just let it sit here and idle for 20, 30 minutes. It'll shut off. That's what I'd be looking for. I'd have a spark tester on it so I could watch the spark doing its thing.
Okay, wait, I have a question. If he brought this to your shop and you knew, I assume you start the truck, Russ, and then you set a timer. Because you're not going to stand there for 30 minutes watching that spark tester.
No, I'm going to do like the mechanics do. I'm going to order a pizza.
Right.
And if they're at my door delivering it,
exactly,
then I'm close.
Right. So how long do you set the timer for? 18 minutes?
I just look at the clock and say, oh, it's 2 after 1, 1:32.
And if you miss it, you wait another half
hour. Probably will, because by the
Yeah.
time 30 minutes is a lot for me. I've got 10 people will call, 5 people will walk in, 3 people will need help. I mean, something's going to happen. I'm going to be busy and go, it's been 3 hours
Missed
already.
it.
By that much. So I'm going to put a spark tester on it, and I'm also going to put a voltmeter on the coil to see if I have voltage there compared to, look at the battery. Okay. Oh, look, I got 12 volts of the battery, 12 volts of the coil, or 6, whatever kind of car you got. And I'm going to watch it, and I'm just going to sit there. And when I get close, I'll watch. And then when it dies, what did I lose? Did I lose power to the coil? Nope, still got power to the coil. Lost my spark. It stopped sparking. But you have to watch it. And you're going to have to have that thing sitting probably idled up more than at 500 RPM or whatever it's idling at, because it'll just shut off. And you're like, I didn't even see if the spark went off. You got to see that engine coast down. So if it's running at 900 RPM or 1,000 RPM, just high idle, then you say, and it slows down. And as it's slowing down, you go, oh, spark's gone. And they say, was it fuel I lost or was it spark? More than likely, it's going to be spark. And you've got to find out, was it I'll probably have I'll go one step further. I'll have power hooked up on the input side so I can see if I've got battery voltage there, but I'm probably also going to have a test light stuck on the other side so I can see it blinking to tell me that does this thing still have points in it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that'll
put a new points condenser.
Okay. Then on that negative side, if that light's
can
blinking, it'll tell me that the points are functioning properly. And that's not what shut it down.
I can tell you that the coil was so hot I couldn't touch it.
Well, that could be a problem too. You need to find out, do you have a resistor coil? It'll say resistor built in. If you do not, and the truck does not have a resistor coil, it's going to do that. It's going to shut down and it's going to burn the coil up. So
okay,
that's important because they either have a resistor built into the power wire going to the coil, or the coil has a resistor built into it. Most of them will say resistor coil on them now, but I've seen people still get it the other way, and there's no resistor, and that coil gets so hot that it opens up the windings inside and it kills it. It shorts it and it's dead. So you might have that problem. And this has been anything with an ignition coil on it going back to the beginning of time. They had, they either had the resistor built into the wire or they had it built into the coil. One of the two.
Okay.
You got to check that out. See what's going on. But yeah, that really hot, that's a clue right there.
All right.
There you go, Alan. Thanks very much for the call. That's a cool truck.
Yeah, they were pretty cool.
866-594-4150. Let's stay in Chicago and talk to Larry. Larry, you're on the End of the Hood Show. What can we do for you?
Hey, guys. Good morning. I appreciate you and really enjoy the show.
Thank you.
And Chris, I've got an old 92 one-ton Chevy with a 454. I would be really excited if I could get 10 miles to a gallon.
Yeah, that's like
I can't
6.
even get that.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
All the time. Pulling it out.
Yeah. 8 or 9 downhill.
Downhill.
I have a 2016 Cadillac ATS 2.0 turbo, and it's random. And every once in a while, when I put it in gear, it doesn't seem like it wants to engage right away. It's kind of like thinking about it. That's the 8-speed in there.
That's not good.
It's not, and it's not consistent at all.
No, I mean, the better part is that it's not consistent. You might be able to put some transmission cleaner in it, run it, change the fluid, flush it out good, and that might help if it's a valve that's sticking in there and solenoid that's sticking. Once it does it all the time, we're more concerned that you've got a bigger problem. It's already failed. Something's failed inside of it. But if it's inconsistent like that, you might be able to clean it up with a flush. But you got to put some transmission cleaner in there. In our shop, we use a Justice Brothers transmission cleaner, and that's meant to go in, drive the car, let it shift through every gear. We, forward, reverse, lower gears, higher gears, drive down the road, get the torque converter to lock up, put it in reverse, forward, park a bunch of times where it's repeating all those things. It's got to move. If you don't move it, you're not going to get that cleaner run through there. And then we flush it while it's hot.
Understand.
And see what you got.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll give
There
it a
you
shot.
go.
Yeah.
Thanks
luck.
very much, Larry. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's go and talk to Ron. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Ron, what can we do for you?
Well, good morning, gentlemen.
Hey.
I unfortunately have a Dodge Journey. I think it's a 17. Having a problem with the air conditioner. It's got the dual control, passenger, driver, and it's the driver's side that's an issue. Some days it'll just blow nice cold air, and intermittently it'll stop. I'll get heat, still getting cool out of the passenger side. And then oddly, when you shut it off, go in wherever you're going, come back out, fire it up, it'll work fine.
A lot of times when you shut them off and restart them, it recalibrates itself. They've got a self-calibration mode, and if it sees a code show up, shuts it down, doesn't want to work, you get the temp stuck on one position or the other. You shut it off and restart it, it goes through a self-learn self-check, and it can fix itself. Because what happens is as it moves, it gets a feedback in its circuit and says, this is the position of the door. Well, if it loses that position because you've hit a dead spot and then you shut it off and restart it, it's not looking for the position right away. It starts to move the motor, and then it's looking at the counts as it goes back and forth to relearn, so it can go by that spot and get where you want it to go. Eventually, it'll just fail. Typically, almost all the time, it's the motor that's causing that problem, the actuator.
Is there any, Ron, can you just pull over, shut it down, start it back up, and it gets cool again right away?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Not always. I haven't tried that. I just kind of suffer through it.
Yeah, you want to.
So there's a damper door under the dash somewhere actuated by a motor.
Several. Yeah, you got several under there.
Several.
A left, a right,
Okay.
a recirculation door, temp, left and right temp.
But since it's
then
working
mode door.
on the passenger side, does that tell you where to?
Yeah, it usually tells me the driver's side motor's failed on it.
Okay.
And the passenger side's still good.
Okay.
On ones where you got to tear the whole dash, that one you should be able to replace just that motor without taking the whole dash out. But in the ones where you have to pull the whole dash out, we change every motor in there. You can actually buy them in kits. Our partner over at Dorman Products, they sell kits. And if you wonder, it's like, well, why are they selling kits with every motor? Because they fail.
Yeah.
They're just a little erector set kind of cheap motor with plastic gears, and they go bad. So if you're spending the time to pull a whole dash out of a car, you should buy all of them. And those kits, it's actually surprising. In a kit with 4 motors or 5 motors, you can get the whole set for just a little more than buying 2 motors.
But in Ron's case, he doesn't have to do that.
Well, in his, I think that one you can just take off the one motor and get to it pretty easy access. So you should be able to buy just one and replace just the one. And like I said, it's self-calibrating. So if you bolt it on, it should take off and test itself. But that's the most common item. And you'll see those motors.
Okay.
For pretty reasonable.
Well, I appreciate that. Will they affect the heating season too?
Oh yeah,
We're kind of
everything.
getting out of air conditioning.
Hot, cold, all of it. Sometimes it's just one end to the other, like all the way cold, all the way hot. I got a car that won't work on the full cold, but one notch up, it's fine. So all winter, it's great. But if you have to turn it all the way down by that max area, it's going to shut off. Start clicking. Tick, 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 tick.
Ron, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Brian. You're on the Under the Hood show. Brian in Iowa. Go ahead.
Hello. I had a question about a follow-up on a 13 Ford Edge you recommended a couple weeks ago. It was EVAP problem with it. I talked to my mechanic, and he didn't know if you could smoke the fuel inlet on the vehicle, and then there was I can't remember the name. It was a vent valve canister. Can you smoke that, or do you have to replace this stuff? Or
You can smoke anything, anytime. You bet. With it on the vehicle, off the vehicle, it doesn't matter. You can put the smoke in there and find out if it's leaking through the valve. If the valve's stuck open, it's going to go in one side and right out the other. It shouldn't do that. If it's turned off, it should be blocked. Or open, depending on what type of system. He'll have to look at his manuals and see. If it says it's normally open, then it's going to flow until it's turned on. If it's normally closed, it won't flow until it's turned on. But they can be done right on the car. The fuel filler neck is going to fill up with smoke as he's doing that EVAP test. So if it's coming out the gas cap when then that's bad. So it's pretty easy, and it's a simple test. Cheap machine too.
Brian, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood show.
If your Band-Aid can is empty because you have so many dash lights on, you need to call Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. Okay, I have no skin in this game, but I have a question for you before we move on. How much do you love that when someone calls and says, "Hey, I went to my tech, told them what you said, and they asked me to ask you how to do it"? I mean,
it's great.
Yeah, and it's not only is it. I mean, because I feel like I just fixed things.
Well,
it feels like I made it. You know,
mechanics don't want to
But that's,
we
I was
have
just going to
some
say.
that call our show and
if you
say,
have a-
hey, I have a car I'm working on. I need help. But then there's other mechanics that say, well, I don't want people to know that I don't know everything. Well, then have somebody else call, or you can call.
That was,
Because nobody's going to know it's you, right?
I think if
It's
you,
not like we're on 250 stations across the United States and podcast and YouTube and Facebook. They're not going to recognize your voice. I promise.
I think if you tell your tech something and they don't know how to do it and they ask you to ask, I think that's the tech you want, isn't it?
It is. It's like, I don't care how you fix my car. I just want you to fix it.
Right.
So ask as many people as you need to ask.
Let's talk to Mark. You're on the Under the Hood show. Mark, what can we do for you?
Yeah, I got a issue with the 17 Sierra, and it's electrical in nature, and my information center is giving us a bunch of warnings, and my mirrors are closing and opening, and the doors are locking and unlocking.
Uh-oh. That's trouble.
And I was wondering if it's we took it in, and there was the window quit working. It kept telling us for a while that we needed to open and close the window to reset something.
Yeah, that happens when the battery goes dead,
And,
or if it loses power.
So I'm kind of wondering, I'm trying this new thing now, and we're driving, and I was listening to you, and I thought I'd call. The main key fob that we've been using, threw that in a drawer at home, and I got out the spare key fob, and I'm going to see if if it's the key fob.
You can give that a shot. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's trying to switch between presets, and it can do all sorts of wacky stuff.
But we did identify a broken wire in that harness into the door, but I just wondered if it could be that simple, or if we're just running down a rabbit hole with
that's the CAN bus. That there's wires in there that control the CAN bus of that module. There's power and ground wire to the door module. All that stuff.
One broken,
that'll mess the whole
well,
thing
first
up.
of all, if one's broken, there's a chance that that's the only part that you can see that's broken.
Oh, there
right?
might
That
be more broken.
Yeah, exactly.
I give them a little pull. Every one of them a little pull, because they can be broken inside before the plastic case breaks, or the plastic case can crack and the metal wire is still good.
Right.
And then you could insulate it. But, it's usually with those smaller ones, we have them break inside, and I give them a little tug, and I'm like, oh, look, you can stretch that thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's pulling apart inside. So you want to make sure they're all good. Very common in every model of car out there. At some point, the door wires will break.
Yeah, and when that happens, you're breaking a circuit that goes back and forth and
allowing a ground feedback loop or something. It's going to try to find a path, and that could be through the conductors.
Mark, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Brad. You're on the hood. You're on the Under the Hood show, Brad. What can we do for you?
I have a 98 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and what do you do? It's from Japan. It's right-hand drive.
Oh yeah.
What do you do if the What do you do if the scanner doesn't recognize it?
The scanner will recognize any car from anywhere in the world that's OBDII. If the scanner has a problem, something wrong with the car. Something's wrong in the car in the data link.
Okay.
Okay. So what do you do then?
Well, you can use generic OBDII and see if that communicates. If it doesn't, then you need to find out why the system isn't working. You need to start diagnosing the CAN bus, checking power and ground, and looking to see if there's a short or open
and
in
check
that data
the OBD.
connector.
I mean, make sure there's nothing that it's connected at the sensor.
Well, look behind where it plugs in under the dash, because a lot of times people will tie remote starts and other things in there to get data, and it will interrupt the whole system. So make sure nothing is tied in behind that port. Follow the wires up to where they disappear into the harness where the tape is. But where it's built like that shouldn't matter at all. OBDII is onboard diagnostics. Jeep is not some of these cars. I could see if you bought a car from China that was made in China, there was something odd that didn't comply, that could be an issue. But Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, Ram, and anything, Mercedes, Audi, BMW, Ford, Chrysler, GM, all of that stuff is all worldwide OBD2 compliant, so it's gonna work. But what I do first is I just plug it in and go on general OBD2 and see if it recognizes it that way.
Well, I don't know. He tried a couple different scanners and it just doesn't recognize it at all. And I don't know if
it's got a fuse on that OBD2 connector. If it's blown, it will not work any scanner as well. So
the answer there is it's your vehicle, not because
it's the vehicle, not the scanner, and it's not because it's right-hand drive.
Right, exactly.
This vehicle, if you put the steering wheel on the other side, would still have this problem.
Yeah.
Something is wrong in that CAN bus system. And it can be checked. I mean, they have diagrams for that connector, and you can see, and you go to that pin and say, oh, there's no power there. What's up? Look at the diagram, see where that fuse is. Go to the fuse box, replace that fuse. You got power back. Now it's going to work. It's got to see that vehicle power and ground. Otherwise, it's not going to communicate with any scanner.
Brad, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. That call and the call before that just reminded me of something I heard somewhere once, and I have to assume it was on this show because, I mean, I've been on the show a long time, and this is where somebody said once, if you see electrical tape, check there.
Good.
Always start there.
That was probably Shannon. That sounds like a Shannonism, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you see electrical tape, somebody's been there.
Somebody check where the humans have been.
There, yep.
866-594-4150. Let's talk to Kyle. You're on the Under the Hood show. Kyle, what can we do for you?
Hey, Shannon. Hey, Russ. This is Scott's son.
Oh, yeah. Kyle.
Hey, I heard you guys had a company call with a 2012 Pilot with like a transmission shutter.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
So my wife's 12 Pilot had the same thing, and so I brought the scanner out and was trying to figure out. So I was like, "There's no way the transmission." I had a rebuilt transmission in it. Turns out the VCM, which plagues those Honda V6s with their cylinder delete stuff, was kicking on when you would let off the gas a little bit and then get back on. It was like deactivating and then reactivating cylinders.
And shutter.
The fix is
felt like shutter.
Yeah, it would shutter. It would feel like a shutter. But the fix is the guy on the internet makes a VCM tuner, it's called, and basically it plugs into the coolant temp sensor and kind of tricks you to basically not think it's warm enough to activate that whole cylinder deactivation stuff, and completely cleared it up. The car runs on 6 cylinders all the time now, and if you can catch it early enough, you don't end up clogging up the rings with oil and start burning.
Yeah.
Catch it early enough, obviously.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, they do make a little plug-in under the dash one, too, that you got to buy for the port to keep that from going on, too.
That always makes me nervous when a guy on the internet sells a thing you can plug into your car.
Well, yeah, some of them don't have the thing you can buy off Amazon, so you got to find the guy that has it to kill it.
That's going to do it for hour 1 of the Under the Hood show. Hour 2 is coming up. 866-594-4150. You're listening to the Under the Hood show.
You're listening to the Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show with the Motor Medics, Shannon Nordstrom and Russ the Super Tech Evans. Shannon is an ASE engine and parts specialist, and Russ is an ASE Master Certified Technician with extensive factory drivability training. The Under the Hood Show is heard weekly on this and other great radio stations.
With Russ Evans, this is Shannon Nordstrom, thanking you for tuning in to the Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show. Have a great day, and remember, PTLA.
The opinions heard on this program, based on the many years of experience of Russ and Shannon, are offered for entertainment value and as a guide to your repair needs. No guarantee to repair or cause is given or implied. Always check with your favorite certified technician and follow all safety procedures before attempting repair. The Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show with the Motor Medics is reproduced and distributed by Prairie House Productions. Have questions for the Motor Medics? Call our 24-hour toll-free number, 866-594-4150. All content of the Under the Hood Show is the property of Nordstrom's Incorporated. Copyright Nordstrom's Automotive and may be reproduced with our permission. Now, let's go under the hood with the Nordstrom's Motor Medics.
Welcome to the Under the Hood show. We are glad to have you with us. Russ Evans is here to answer your automotive questions.
Thanks for joining us under the hood.
Shannon Nordstrom is not here to answer your automotive questions. No. I'm Chris Carter here to answer your calls at 866-594-4150. 4150. It was like a ghost there. It was like a digital ghost of Shannon there. It wasn't me. It was actually just a
space ghost,
an echo. All right. 866-594
digital jazz
4150. Got calls coming in. Should we start right at them?
Yes.
Let's talk to Bree. You're on the Under the Hood show, Bree. What can we do for you?
Hi there. My grandpa Ron is on here too. So I have a Jeep Wagoneer. It's a 2023. I've been having a lot of issues with it. It's been folding my children up in the back seat. All the lights in the dash keep coming on. It will randomly die on us when we're driving it. It will randomly honk the horn, lock the keys inside, even if no one is touching the keys. Like it is. I took it to the dealership, and they basically said it needed new batteries and replace the batteries in it.
Yeah, they've had a lot of problems with batteries. My daughter has one of these vehicles as well, and it's had all sorts of wacky issues. And twice, I think, they've replaced the batteries in it. Oh, it needs batteries. They put batteries in it, and then it's working. It's like, well, if the batteries are so bad and they got to keep getting replaced, get some better batteries.
Yeah.
Something is goofy, but is it working now that they put the batteries in it?
So far, I've only had it back a few days. It just doesn't make sense to me that the batteries are causing it to lock us out of the vehicle. Even with our keys inside of it, we'll step out of it and it will just lock us out.
Oh, yeah.
Or it's holding our children up in the third row.
Voltage is huge, but
the batteries are causing that.
Yeah, voltage is a huge issue with these things. But I would, if this thing's still under warranty, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we're under our extended warranty. And,
oh no.
Yeah.
Well, you can still contact Chrysler directly, and you can contact the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety and the Safety Traffic Administration, because this is a safety thing. Say, hey, it's folding up my kids in the back seat.
Yeah.
Oh, nothing worse than when kids get folded up in the back seat.
To answer your question, though, Bree, right off the get, yes, battery can cause this.
Oh, yeah.
And the other thing I was going to say is, the keys in the vehicle locking, that one you can solve yourself.
Take the keys out.
Right. Yeah. No.
Yeah. They've had a lot of issues with these with those batteries. I know, because my daughter's like, why is the battery dead and the thing's not even a year old? I said, well, because there was obviously a problem with it. And it's not like it goes dead overnight. It's dead all the time. They can't be charged. They're like they failed. So it's funny. We've got our partner over at Clarios with the Optima batteries. We're going to be talking to them after our show. We're going to be doing an interview with them, talking about their new battery shop on YouTube channel and stuff. And if you're wondering about batteries and what makes them go and what makes them go dead,
but
that's a place to go.
But to answer Bree's question a little bit further on that battery nowadays,
there's two. There's a stop-start battery.
Right.
There's a main vehicle battery, and they both have to be working.
Nowadays, those are in the circuit of the
all
vehicle.
The time.
So
all the time.
The battery is a working part of the electrical system. So if you do have a bad battery, all sorts of weird things can happen. Like you have a bad
heart. Oh,
yeah,
not working.
Yeah.
Why are my fingers numb? That's got nothing to do with my heart. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So does that help you out there, Bree, a little bit at least?
Yes. Yeah, it makes sense.
That is so you're already in the extended warranty after a couple of years. A bunch of miles on it?
No. It's just the when I took it in there, they were like, "Oh, well, now you're in your extended warranty," which thankfully my husband bought the extended warranty, but of course it covered everything, all the work they did except for the batteries.
Yeah, they don't cover batteries because they consider them like gasoline. It's a wear item, a usage item. I would not go with a factory battery in that. I would go with the best aftermarket battery you can find for that vehicle.
Is that's not gonna fix? I mean, if they're having issues with it,
it could be something separate. If it's the batteries that's the problem, yeah, by all means, you got that fixed. Put the batteries in it. If it's working, you're good to go.
Yeah.
There could be other things going on electrically with that. There could be something on that CAN bus system. You could have a body control module failing, an engine computer. Any one of the modules could be shorted, causing this issue, causing it to get wacky. But you got so many things going on. It could be battery power.
And we've talked about it before. Sometimes batteries go bad no matter what.
Brand new batteries. So
brand
the best,
new or
the
a
best
week
ones.
old or a month old, they sometimes just don't go. So Bree, you might be okay now. Good luck. Thanks for the call. 866-594-4150. Let's go to Idaho and talk to Alan. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Alan, what can we do for you?
Yeah, so I got a 2017 Dodge Ram, 3/4 ton diesel, and I had DEF on it, and the DEF it was covering up all my smoke issues, so I couldn't tell. And anyways, one of my injectors went bad and blew up my 6-cylinder, melted it.
Yep.
So I'm trying to decide can they just ream that cylinder out? Is that worth it, or is it better just to go find a new block? Or I do have a neighbor that has a 2010 motor. I wondered if it was similar, or if it are they compatible? Or
no, those will be different. It depends on how bad the cylinder is. If the cylinder is scored horribly, it's going to have to be bored, and you can't bore just one cylinder. It's not a good idea. You need to bore all 6, hone them to fit the rings and the pistons, and replace the pistons in the ring. And you could do that. I mean, it's not the end of the world. If you don't have an engine full of metal, like where you had a rod go out or something, you still got good rods and everything. You could put a new set of standard, if it's got standard bearings in, throw a new set of bearings in it. You wouldn't have to turn everything, bore it out, put new pistons in it. You're good to go in them. You could even make some updates to the engine while you got it apart, Not necessarily have to go crazy on the whole thing, but you're definitely going to have to, if the one cylinder is just scratched a little bit, then they might be able to put a piston in it and hone it. You won't know until you tear it down, and a mechanic in a machine shop measures and verifies those things. But it's normal. I mean, you get an injector go out, it'll score the cylinder, but sometimes it just trashes the piston.
What's the difference in price between the two options there?
A lot. If you can get by with just honing it and putting one piston in it because there's no damage to that cylinder, then you're saving thousands of dollars versus the other way. Because I think a rebuild.
So there's 3 levels here.
Yeah, if you pull that engine out and buy, a used engine could, let's just say, cost you $6,000 to $9,000 depending on the miles just for the engine. Honing one cylinder. And this is on the bench because you still got lots of 20 hours, 25 hours, 29 hours, whatever it is to pull that engine with whatever the shop's going to get. But with it on the bench, if you're doing just one cylinder versus boring all 4, 4 times the cost.
Okay.
Because you got per cylinder to bore it, but you got the same tear down. You got to tear the whole thing down either way. It's a lot. It's a lot.
He's going to save thousands, but it's still going to cost thousands.
Oh,
yes?
Yeah. At the very minimum, you lose one cylinder when you lose an injector. You are going to, and you're going to have to replace. You need to replace all 6 injectors because if you had one fail, guess what? There's others getting ready to fail.
So even if he has them look at it and they say it's shot, even if he decided to throw the truck in the river, he's still going to be thousands for the shop to check it.
Yeah,
because they got to pull it out
to diagnose it. But this is a 17 truck.
Yeah,
this is worth a ton of money.
This is worth, for sure.
If you spend $15,000 and put an engine in it, even a little more than that, you still can't go buy that truck running off a lot with a new motor in it, or a good used motor. I mean, they're expensive. Everything's really expensive. So, you want to save money. You might look at a certified used option. Injectors are very important. We suggest to people when you're putting a diesel engine in, it's very important. Put new injectors in it. Yeah. If the turbo fails, okay, you lose boost, it starts burning oil. If an injector fails, you can crash a cylinder super fast.
Does that help you out there, Alan?
Yeah, that helps. So the 2010 motor my buddy has is not. They don't.
I don't think that block is compatible with the block you have. You got to run all the numbers and see on there. I mean, there's external stuff that definitely make them not compatible. But anytime the 24 valves and the 12 valves, a lot of them are interchangeable with themselves. Not 12 for a 24, but a 24 that whole system and a 12 that whole system. A lot of those were interchangeable, but there are certain things with the electronics on the new ones that are not interchangeable. So you've got to look that up to find out for sure on your block casting.
But you don't think so?
I don't think it is. I really
Alan,
don't think it is.
thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. You're listening to the Under the Hood Show.
YouTube certified mechanic. Yeah, that's not quite what they mean by certified mechanic. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Don't forget, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you can watch the show there. And you join the Hoodie Fan Club at underthehoodshow.com, you could win a hoodie.
Like Fred Johns, congratulations from our friends over at Berkeley One Classics, celebrating 50 years of collector car coverage. And Universal Technical Institute. Find them at uti.edu.
And don't forget, if you miss an episode, you can always find it wherever you get your podcasts. So you can go listen to it over and over. And there's how many podcasts are up available right now?
400?
Hundreds, yeah.
400 or 500?
Uh-huh.
Maybe 800. I think we're up to 800 now. I think I changed that around. But there's quite a few. There's quite a few.
866-594-4150. Let's talk to Ryan. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Ryan, what can we do for you?
Morning, guys. Hey, I was just curious. I've got a 2020 Jeep Gladiator that has a 6.4 Hemi in it. It was built by Ruba Trucks in North Carolina, and it calls for 040 oil. I want your guys' opinion on 040 oil. I do live in South Dakota, so it is cold, but I'm just curious on 040, and it's hard to find. You got to special order it and everything.
Let me weigh it. I'm going to take a shot at this one, Ryan. I'll ask Russ here, and I'll see if I can nail this one. Use it. That's it. Because if they say to, you don't want to mess that up. That's right.
Yep, that's what you want. GM was changing oil brands or oil types to cover up a problem they had with the 6.2. The fix is to change the engine. Period. They built it wrong. You need to. That's not going to help it. That is just a Band-Aid to get you by, to kind of slow down the problem so that they can get some engines built so they can take care of people, which they've been doing. Unless you're over 100,000 miles, then I've got a couple customers that are over 100,000 miles and they're less than 2 years old in the truck, and they are.
I was just going to say.
Fuming.
I bet they're not
fuming.
happy.
They're like, well, you made it 100,000 miles. It's like on a truck that's a year and a half old. Yeah. You guys suck.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're saying. So, but yeah, you're changing that viscosity. That's what the engine is designed for. Works well on that. If the engine's built correctly, like those 6.4s were great engines. They've been built well. They ran well. Lots of people with a couple 100,000 miles or more on them already with that weight oil, and they're having no problems with them. It's expensive, but yeah, it's working. It's working well. So I wouldn't go changing that around.
Okay. Okay, I was just kind of curious because you read stuff on online. Everybody's running different stuff and this, and I just thought I'd talk to the pros.
If you had a whole forum at some point.
I think you meant me.
Yeah, there you go. If you look and you see a whole forum, a reputable one, and you've got every single person on there agreeing the same, saying, "Oh yeah, we're running 5W40. That's perfect. That's exactly what we run." And they say, "Oh, we've all been running it for 200,000 miles. I've ran it since it was brand new, no problem." Then I start taking that with a grain of salt. I'm like, all right, I'll think about it because we've got real world people, but you will always find somebody. I bet if you go to Google right now and type in running 10W30 in my 6.4 Hemi, you're going to find people, "Oh, I run that all the time. It works great."
Perfect, yeah.
You can find all sorts of stuff. It's like, type in, "Why is broccoli bad for you? Why is air bad for you?
Mm-hmm.
Why is eating your vegetables bad for you?" I mean, you will find all the bad stuff you want, but usually the factory, if they have a problem with it, they'll get it changed within a couple years. If they know that their oil weight has been an issue, it will be this has been history. We have seen this on many vehicles where the manufacturer says, "Nope, this didn't work. We're changing our viscosity to something else." That's why we don't put it in the owner's manual anymore. That gives them leeway to change it on the fly without it being in print.
You know, we've talked about that in a bad way before. I mean, or we've questioned, you know, they don't put it in the manual anymore, and that screws some people up. They put it in as an addition.
I couldn't find it for my pressure washer.
But sometimes that's a good thing because then it's not in there wrong. You find out something later and they can fix it one way or another.
Yep. And a lot of it has to do with use, because you'll find like Honda motors that you see on almost every piece of power equipment, whether it's a pressure washer, a go-kart, lawnmower, a wood log splitter, whatever it is, they will often change the oil viscosity slightly for the use that it's intended for. The temperature, the load that's on it, all those things. If it's a lighter load, they can get by with a lighter oil and have something that runs smoother, less wear, starts easier in the cold. So you'll see that with vehicles too.
The internet.
I've heard of it.
I, as an owner of a new vehicle to me, I've done some looking at just basic questions. I'm like, I wonder if that, and I look it up on the internet and I'll get a forum.
Okay.
I can't believe how much, and mine's just a normal car. I'm just asking the waste of time that is on those forums and the bad info that is on every forum. And I don't mean as a whole, but someone will say, I have this. Can I do this? The first person says yes. The second person says no way. Third person says, you guys are jerks. You probably voted for X.
And then they start arguing with each other.
It is so much noise. It's almost unusable. How do you find out? How do you look?
As mechanics, it makes it really difficult too. What's even worse is when you think, okay, I got this problem. Let's see if anybody else has had it. And when you go to the internet and you type it in 50 different ways and no one has had that issue,
yeah.
You're like, you're on your own, buddy. They haven't even heard of it.
That would be better than what you sometimes find.
Yeah. Or you're looking for something that's like on a car that's 6 or 7 years old. You should have heard of it by now if it's pretty common.
Yeah.
And then you get the people come in and they think they're mechanics and say, oh, well, everybody's having this problem. Well, then why doesn't it show up on the internet?
Yeah.
If everybody's having it, and no, not everybody's having it, you're having it. And then sometimes they'll say, oh, well, actually it does that. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
I just spent all this time looking for something else. Or, it hasn't done it in a month.
866-594-4150. I told you guys, I think it was off the air, about the lawnmower I saw the other day. A kid was riding and it was going up and down. And it was, I have a new one. I have a new issue. I have a new neighbor. No issues. But their lawnmower is idled so high that it sounds like an air pressure or a pressure washer or a weed whip on max, you know, when you gun up the throttle. This lawnmower runs
one speed,
and it is so, I mean, I've looked to see if there's a something out there just running full speed and it's just it's just a normal lawnmower that is so amped up that it just, the whole house, the dog is bouncing around. My wife's like, what is that noise? I can see what he's doing. And I'm like, holy moly, that thing is so idled up. It just is so, it's very tense. It feels like any minute it's just going to explode.
And it will eventually. If
I think it might.
If it's not governed and working like it's supposed to be, I mean, they make them to run at a certain, they even make the blades to cut at a certain RPM, you know?
I wonder, I bet it cuts great.
Probably does.
Unless he probably has to push it to keep it on the ground because it's
going so fast it's just blowing the grass down.
It's just lifting up like a helicopter.
Oh, can you imagine?
This thing sounds like it, man. It is so high idled.
I wonder how much it would take because they have those suction blades that lift, that pull the grass up and throw it. I wonder if you had one of those, if you put like a propeller blade on a lawnmower.
Do you remember when we were younger, right? I think they had the lawn boys that didn't have wheels. Do you remember those? It was like it would float around.
I don't remember that.
Boy,
I should remember that, but I don't.
I wonder if that's just a dream I had once.
I think so.
I think I remember one that didn't have wheels and it was supposed to float itself over your grass. And I remember seeing it and going, well, that seems like a terrible idea.
Could have been something that was in Popular Mechanics for sure. I read a lot of those.
I've been reading it lately. That's
read the old ones.
Gets out
Go
there.
online. There's some crazy stuff on there.
866-594-4150. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood Show.
If it needs more than duct tape, you need Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Let's go to Minnesota and talk to Daryl. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Daryl, what can we do for you?
Yeah, I got a 2002 Buick Lesabre 3800 engine. It's worn a hole in the pipe that goes, the power steering that goes around up to the front and back. I think it's been rubbing on the sway bar, but I don't know if
yeah, cooler.
Replace that, put it kind of like a rubber around it or something, no rubber or something.
They still sell it. It's a power steering oil cooler. It doesn't really look like a cooler because there's no fins on it. It's just a big long loop of metal. And it wears through on the Grand Prix, the LeSabres, the Park Avenues, the Regals, all of those cars, Monte Carlos. Huge problem with those. You could just replace it with a power steering hose, but the fluid will wear out faster. It'll get hotter. It'll burn. In cooler climates, it's usually fairly good. If you get a really hot climate, you can get that fluid pretty burnt, cause damage to the rack from overheating, damage to the power steering pump. The best thing to do is just get another cooler loop for it. I want to say they're less than $200. They might be even less than $100 for that loop, but they call it a power steering cooler line. It's both a hose and a cooler.
The aftermarket ones, just good as you get like O'Reilly's in them.
Yeah, any auto parts store is going to carry it.
Okay.
We've put on a number of them. As we replace lines, we look up power steering hose for a LeSabre, and it'll say pressure hose from pump to rack. It'll say return hose from rack to cooler line, and then from cooler to pump, things like that. So you tell them you want the big cooler loop on the power steering line, and they'll show a picture of it. It goes up and makes like a giant L shape and then loops back. But we've replaced a number of them over the years that were leaking. They rub through on the sway bar. If they're in the wrong position, they'll rub through on bolts and nuts and body mounts and all sorts of stuff. Any place on that line you can see that's contacted another piece of metal and it looks like it's going to rub, we cut a piece of fuel line to slip over it to protect it, keep it from rubbing through.
Daryl, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. That seems pretty straightforward.
It's not too bad at all.
Okay. All right. And I would have guessed, he's gone now and we can't, but I would have guessed it was either silver or gold, that LeSabre.
Probably. Or white.
866-594-4150. Let's go to Georgia and talk to Bob. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Bob, what can we do for you?
Hey, good morning. My wife bought a 2007 Honda Accord with a couple of 100,000 miles on it. Needed tires. We got new tires. And it has a vibration in the front end, as if the tires are either out of round or out of balance, or maybe both. It's from a big box store, so I'm having trouble getting through to some justice on this. I think they ought to be able to mount the tires properly. Notice an out around wheel if that's the problem, and also I have my doubts about how their balances are being trued or zeroed, we'll call it. How often should that be done on a coach balancer?
A lot of times it'll tell you. The new ones are automatic, and they'll tell you when it needs calibration. The ones I have, it tells me, hey, it's time for a recalibration. We're seeing discrepancies between balance cycles. We know what the original one was when you calibrated it, and now it's off. So they're pretty smart. They know what the original parameters were, and they know what it is today. They know if it's been moved for cleaning or whatever. So,
and it's safe to assume that any big box store is going to have a pretty modern.
Yeah, they usually don't keep them. They usually don't keep them very long, 5-6 years, and they're getting new equipment on. From what I've seen, anyways, Costco and those places I see do that often. But I just had one the other day. They put new tires on and they shook, and they brought them back twice, and they said, well, they said they balanced them and they're just fine. There's nothing wrong with the tire. And I said, go back again and tell them, look, this thing is still shaking when you go down the road. And they said, well, it's a suspension. It's out of alignment. It's like, no, alignment won't cause a shake. This is a vibration. I said, when the car's in the air, turn the tire and see if the wheel is turning 100% round or if it's bent and hopping up and down or side to side, and then look at the tire. And sure enough, when they just spun it by hand and the wheel was 100% perfectly smooth, but the tire tread was moving up and down almost a 1/4 inch. So you can balance an egg, or a square tire. You could balance it. It would spin on the balancer just fine, but you put it on the road, it's going to hop up and down on that surface. So it has to be smooth. A bent wheel will cause that. A tire that has a broken belt or one that's just made poorly will do that as well. And occasionally you'll get a tire that is off. Sometimes you'll get a series of them if you get the serial numbers right in a row that are off as well. That is rare. I've only had that happen a couple times in probably 30 some years of putting tires on. But I have had one tire that was no good, or one tire that I was able to take back. Several times I've had them where I was able to dismount it, turn it around a little bit, put it back on, air it up, and then it was fine. But for whatever reason, it just did not seat perfectly on the bead of that wheel, and it was off and gave me a hopping tire. They shouldn't hop. Wheel bearing, it'll make noise. It'll be loose and can cause some vibration. The things they can see, if they're standing at the front of the car and they grab a hold of the wheel and it's tight, it's not flopping around, they're good there. The only other thing that causes that vibration, other than an axle, an axle shaft could do it too, if that axle shaft is out of round. And that's a car that you can have some axle, but those do it on acceleration. When you're under load accelerating, they'll vibrate. Or taking a turn around a cloverleaf, they'll vibrate. But at steady 55, 60 miles an hour, with the cruise on, if it's vibrating, that usually translates to a tire issue or a wheel bent issue. Hard to get. I know what you're saying, though. At any place, it's hard to get. If they're doing just tires mainly, it's hard to get them to
hop in and go for a drive.
To do more diagnostics. Yeah. They're get it in. You got a guy trained just to put a tire on, take a tire off, and balance it. That's it. They're not trained to find out what's wrong when there is a problem.
So what's Bob's next step?
He's going to have to get it in there. Say, look, humor me here. This thing did not do this before you put tires on it. So now that the tires are on it, let's put it on the hoist. Let's spin the tire. You don't even have to take it off the car. Let's just spin it and see if it's straight. And if it hops up and down and the wheel doesn't, you got a tire problem. You're going to have to figure that out. Get a different tire on there, get it balanced, whatever it takes to make that tire go around in a circle without hopping up and down.
Can you switch them front to back?
You could try to switch the position and see if your vibration changes to a different area. But you definitely want to get it up off the ground, turn that tire, and see if the tread hops up and down. If it's hopping up and down, the car's going to hop up and down.
Does that help you out at all, Bob?
Yes, it does. But I'm wondering also, are the tires flat spotted?
They can be.
Before they go into the tire shop. If they have to sit for an hour before it goes into the tire shop, could the tires be flat spotted?
No. That they, a tire, if you store brand new tires without air and without a load on them, they can sit there upright for a long time. They'll be fine. On a car, no, you're not going to get a flat spot unless that car sits in storage through a lot of temperature changes for a very long time, typically 4 or 5 months in one spot. And then a lot of times it'll come out of it when you start driving it. But it's if a car is stored on the ground in one position through a winter where it's hot, it's cold, it's hot, cold, it can get an indentation in that tire in that one spot if it doesn't have the right air pressure. Usually just the right air pressure is enough to overcome that issue.
If you come down pit lane a little too fast, sometimes you can flat spot if you're just getting fuel. Bob, good luck. That's a rough one because, like you said, and like we were talking about with the equipment, it's usually new equipment because it's not people who have a bunch of years experience doing it. It's someone who's trained to do that thing, which is great, keeps your costs down, and you get some good tires at a decent price. But if there's a little bit of an issue, they might not know that even. So good luck. Yeah, that's a bummer. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to John. You're on the Under the Hood show. John, what can we do for you?
Yeah, good morning, guys. Watch you listen to your show all the time. I called once before on my 67 Ford Galaxy 500 with the 289 and the vapor locking, and I suppose about the only alternative, I did put a 1-inch insole block, if you call it, whatever I call it, underneath the carburetor. It seemed to make a little bit of difference, but it still vapor locks on a day like yesterday and today. It'll vapor lock terrible. I don't know. I suppose about the only thing I can do is put in a fuel injection system, or what?
Well, you could put on a regulator, a low pressure regulator at the carburetor, and put a low pressure fuel pump back at the tank. That way you're pressurizing the fuel just to a couple pounds, 3-4 at the most, and returning it back to the tank. And it's circulating it more often because you're basically circulating it none right now, but it would circulate it, keep the fuel cooler. And it also keeps it under pressure, which keeps the vapor lock down, just like a radiator cap keeps your engine under pressure, keeps it from boiling.
Yeah.
And you need to drop that fuel in. But if the boiling, the vapor lock is coming, the vapor boil off is coming from inside of the carburetor, that's a problem because it gets so hot. You wouldn't know until you
like I can drive it like from, I'm like 130 miles from Sioux Falls. I can drive from here to Sioux Falls, go through towns like Pipestone and whatnot. Everything's fine. However, I shut it off in a parking lot, go in and get an ice cream cone, come back out and start it up. It'll start, but it doesn't want to run very well. And then you put it in gear and it dies. And you have a heck of a time getting going, Once you get going, then it's just fine.
That sure sounds like it's the carburetor that's hot that's causing that issue.
Yeah.
So it's getting cooler fuel coming up to it, and then it cools off. So it could be that and you put a block in there that kept it cooler. That could be an issue with it too. There's many different things to try for those kind of things that you gotta narrow it down. Narrowing it down can be difficult. But find out if it's a fuel pressure thing. You could try the fuel pressure and the return to the tank as well too. That's one thing that a lot of people do on those older ones like that, and a non-ethanol fuel in that, because when you got a heat problem like that, you don't have pressure like you do with fuel injection, so you need to use a non-ethanol fuel only.
That's my only experience with vapor lock was my buddy had a 71 Ford pickup, and he used to carry around a cooler, jug of water, like a cooler, like a sipping cooler. And he would just, when it would die, he'd go under the hood and pour a little water on it, and off we'd go. That's not the best way to handle it, though, or it gets you there if it's part-time.
People have done that with new Ford diesels with the overheating FICM.
That sounds worse. That sounds more frustrating.
It is.
John, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we want to hear from you.
That's all you got to do to fix it? I could have paid a guy $1,000 to do that. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. Getting lots of messages about hover mowers. They're all over. They're common. This one's electric. It sounds like it would just cut. I'd not pay attention and lose track of it. This one is an 11-inch. It's got an 11-inch cutting, and it runs at 7,000. The blades go 7,000 RPM.
So it's perfect for like the backyard of a apartment where you have like a 3x5 piece of grass, 11 inches.
There's some big giant ones too. There's some big. They're common. They're fine. I'm scared just thinking about them. 866-594-4150. Let's go to Maine and talk to Keegan. You're on the Under the Hood show. Keegan, what can we do for you?
Hey, guys. Thank you for taking my call once again.
You bet.
I appreciate it. So today I'm working on a 2009 Chevy Silverado 2500 HP with 6-liter gas. It has a no start, no crank condition. I already checked the starter. Looks like the positive cable coming from the battery is fine. No voltage drop. And the signal wire is getting no 12 volts when the key is turned. So I've backtracked it back to the ECM. I checked the main ground, the black and gray stripe wire coming from the ECM. I'm getting 7 ohms of resistance, which seems really high to me. I wanted to verify that that's not good.
That's not good. What happens if you jump the starter relay in the box under the hood? Does it crank?
I didn't try jumping because it has that signal wire where it's just, I can't take a screwdriver to it and bypass. So instead I did a back probe to the 12 volt, and I'm getting no 12 volts at all. Nothing's powering that. Then I backtracked it to the relay, and I do have continuity and 0 ohms back to the relay. So there doesn't seem to be a break in the wiring. It's just not getting power.
7's too high.
Wire.
Pull that fuse box out on the driver's side and turn it over and look at the bottom, see if it's corroded, and make sure all the connectors are seated properly, because we see that a lot with those. They loosen up.
I did just do that, actually. I'm looking at it right now. I just pulled the fuse box. Everything seems nice and clean.
Okay.
I don't see corrosion.
Could be internally.
I don't know where that ground actually connects on the frame. Where is that spot at? I don't know where that actually connects on the ECM ground. Looking at the wiring diagram, it's showing me.
Should be on the back of the block.
Back of the block? Okay.
Yeah, by the transmission.
So
that's where the
actually
grounds
the
are.
engine itself?
Yep. Back of the engine, the back of the
Okay.
block.
So I should check that to see why I'm getting high resistance. Okay.
Yep.
There you go. Keegan, good luck. Thanks very much for the call. 866-594-4150. Let's go to Arizona and talk to Paul. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Paul, what can we do for you?
Well, good to talk to you guys. I listen to you all the time on Saturday, and I just happened to be home off an elk hunt here that I didn't get my cow. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm a little disgusted. But anyway, I got a 92 Chevy C1500 extended cab 4x4, and I got a leak out of the rear transfer case on the going to the shaft.
Yep.
And I was wondering if there was any sealant or anything I might add to the transfer case.
No, on that one, you need to pull the shaft out and put a new seal in it. But while it's out, you also want to check the bushing on the back of the transfer case. Does this one have a slide-in drive shaft, or does it have a bolt-on drive shaft at the back of the case?
No, it's got it just slides in.
Okay. On the slide-in ones, you're going to want to pull it out, slide it out, look at the drive shaft yoke to make sure it doesn't have any grooves in it or a spot that's worn low. If it does, you got to replace that yoke or the whole shaft. If that's good, then check, when you slide it in there without the seal in it, see if it has a lot of play up and down. If it does, you'll have to have a new bushing put in the end of that, inserted to keep it from flopping around, and then put a new seal in it. But there's nothing you can add to it to try to fix it. There's a lot of oil system stop leaks and stuff like that are made out there. Justice Brothers makes a good one, but it's made to condition the seal to keep it soft.
From
getting bad. Yeah, from new.
It's not going to fix it now.
Yeah, if you've got a worn shaft or you've got a wear in the bushing, that is definitely not going to fix that. You have to replace both the hard parts first before a seal is going to seal it. But it's, unfortunately nothing you can do quick, but you block the wheels and then you can take that drive shaft out and replace that seal pretty easily. It just taps in there.
Does that help you out there, Paul?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You got another shot at the? You got another shot at the elk, or is your season done?
No, I can go out this afternoon, but we had a bunch of rain and the puddles are all over and they're drinking out of the puddles, so it's just random where the heck they're at, and they ain't no set pattern on them any right now.
Well, good luck on both. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Roger. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Roger, what can we do for you?
Good morning. Yeah, I'm working on a Honda. It's a 2013 Honda CR-V. A friend asked me to do kind of a 100,000-mile maintenance thing on it. One of them things I was going to do is the brake fluid flush on it. And I'm a little confused because on the top of the cap, and you guys have probably answered this many times already, But on the top of the cap, it says use only .3 or .4 brake fluid. I always thought that if you use 3, you use 3. If you use 4, you use 4. And I don't know what's in there, so does it matter what I use?
No, I mean, if it's saying use either one, you're fine. If you have one that wants only one and you put the wrong kind in it, that's an issue. The seals aren't compatible with both. But if you've got one that has seals compatible with both, you're fine.
You could have both in there.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't matter.
Otherwise, when you go to a shop, they wouldn't know and you'd destroy it. So, if the factory said use .3 or .4, but not both, do not mix, then you'd have a problem. And they don't say that.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. I just wanted to double check.
Roger, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. Do they taste the same?
I know what 3 tastes like. I'm not sure. Maybe I probably tasted the 4. You never know when it's running down on your face.
Do you on that one? I know on some things you can tell by looking at it, obviously, it is, but in this case you can't tell.
No, that's the thing. So there are certain things that are colored. Our partner at Peak Cooling, they make all model antifreeze. They
color?
Make specific colors, because some are purple, some are blue, some are red, and that's great. It's great that they do that. You know that you're pouring in what the factory had, and that's important for a company to do that. There are other things like brake fluid. Any brand you choose, it's all one color. As far as I know, I've only seen clear brake fluid, and that's great. Should be clean and clear. If it's turning black, it needs to be flushed. Metals build up in there, acids build up. It can eat up components, especially in ABS. If you've got, transmission fluid. Transmission fluid could be clear, could be red. Those are the only 2 colors I've seen. Gear oil is always a light tan color, front, rear differential, whatever. Transfer case, that could be blue if it's like an auto track, or it could be a red if it's a transmission fluid. If it's a gear oil, it could be light tan. Other gear oils, clear almost in those. But most of them now are going to be a transmission fluid type color, depending on what they put in there. See what else we got there for fluids. Power steering fluid, it's either going to be red like a transmission fluid, because that's what it is, or it's going to be like a clear color like a brake fluid, and that can be mixed up. I had one the other day, a good one, and we noticed it quick. Car was overheating. So we said, why is this thing overheating? It was in for something else. Didn't even touch the radiator. So I took the cap off to fill it, and some spilled on the ground. I'll guess it was probably a half a gallon that spilled on the ground, but I put almost 2 gallons in to fill this thing up, and then it started working. But I noticed it was purple, an odd color purple, and it was not the purple for this Chrysler vehicle, and it smelled funny. It smelled like soap. It was weird. And I got the fluid in there, got it topped off, ran it for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, drove it. It was fine, works great now. Then when I got back, I was talking to the guy. He goes, well, was that all it needed was to top it off? How low was it? I was like, oh, it was, almost 2 gallons. And then I said, whatever's on the ground that I hadn't cleaned up yet is where'd it go? Antifreeze doesn't evaporate.
Oh.
Antifreeze doesn't evaporate. Washer fluid evaporates. Somebody had put the purple bug remover washer fluid in that radiator.
Oh, no. Is that...
We see antifreeze in washer fluid all the time.
Yeah.
People will grab blue antifreeze and they'll pour it in, purple, red. But we don't often see it in the radiator. It wasn't in an overflow tank. I mean, it was in the radiator. So they went to some lengths to get that in there.
What's the worst thing you've ever accidentally tasted?
Gasoline is not good at all.
I bet. Yeah. That's the worst one?
That's probably the worst one because it burns.
What's the most common one?
Most common is
oil.
Engine oil. Power steering fluid and engine oil. As you're underneath trying to find a leak and it's running right in your mouth. I think it's right there. Get in your eyes, hair.
That'll do it for the Under the Hood Show. Until next time, you can find us at underthehoodshow.com. Thanks for listening. And don't forget to go watch the show on our YouTube channel. Thanks for listening to the Under the Hood Show. All right. The after show, no after show. We got to go. We got stuff going on.
We're going to go over and talk to the guys over at Optima Batteries. All sorts of battery tech. They've got some new stuff. You're on YouTube now. The Battery Shop on YouTube.
Yep.
Check them out. It's an all new setup there. All sorts of stuff going on. So,
and if you're watching on YouTube right now, go listen to the podcast when it comes out, and you'll hear that interview.
Yeah.
So get on it.
Be on the end of that.
Thanks, everybody.